Greek gods. We even see it in our mainstream. We still see these concepts being put out right before our very eyes. There's a movie called Despicable Me, and if you take a look at the poster, you can see the outline, and that's it's like a bird-headed man, you see, kind of like Osiris, going back to Osiris, but the bird-headed man. This is a children's animation, Despicable Me, but we still see that concept there of these freaky creatures. So we remember that all angels are different. Some angels have multiple heads and faces, like the angels in Ezekiel had the face of an angel, lion, ox, and human. And of course other angels such as Lucifer are serpent reptile type beings. In Genesis 6 in the Bible, there's clear scripture that states angels came down from heaven and had sexual intercourse with human females. This union between the angels and human females produced giants who had 6 fingers and were over 12 feet tall. It should also be noted that there have been numerous discoveries of giant human skeletons all over the world. And when these discoveries occur, they're often hushed up by government science-type institutes. It's also interesting that the book of Enoch mentions how fallen angels had intercourse with humans who produced giants. The book of Enoch also mentions how the fallen angels and offspring sinned against different animals, including reptiles. So did this interaction between the fallen angels, their offspring, and reptiles produce these different interbred type creatures? Of course, I think, did the fallen angels engage in genetic experimentation with various animals, such as reptiles? The fallen angels and their offspring engaging in sexual activity and possibly genetic experiments with humans and animals could have produced all kinds of unknown creatures, strange species. Once again, we see these in ancient Egypt, right? The mix of human and animal, and same thing with some of the Greek gods and creatures from that time. Here's an excerpt from the book of Enoch. It says, "And they took wives for themselves, and everyone chose for himself one each. And they began to go into them and were promiscuous with them. And they taught them charms and spells, and they showed them cutting of roots and trees. They became pregnant and bore large giants, and their height was 3,000 cubits. These devoured all the toil of men until men were unable to sustain them, and the giants turned against them in order to devour men. And they began to sin against birds, and against animals, and against reptiles, and against fish. And they devoured one another's flesh, and drank the blood from it." That's from Book of Enoch 7.